Japanese yen, and why is it crashing? When will it rebound? These are all the questions I'm getting asked. Currencies are rarely about technicals. Case in point, the Japanese yen. The yield on the 10-year government bonds has been rising as of late quite significantly as well. And it's pretty much reflected the news that the Bank of Japan has reduced its purchases of government bonds really for the first time since December. We're approaching 1% now on this yield. We're a few basis points away from the peak that we saw in last November. Today being a different story. Back then, the rise in the yields reflected both domestic and global factors. Domestic side, we saw the Bank of Japan was gradually loosening its grip on the 10-year yield. That was after years of tight yield curve control, and investors were starting to price in hikes. And, meanwhile, bond yields in the rest of the world, especially in the developed world, were also rising, putting further pressure on those in Japan. And the global trend really reflected growing expectations from many investors that rates would continue and remain higher for longer. Notably, in the US, 10-year Treasury yield briefly touching 5% last October.